Hey guys, and welcome back to yet another episode of
It's About Time. We're
as
both
promised,
here.
As
Holy crap.
promised.
Woo!
It's back. We're joining each other for the first time in how many episodes? Like 4 or 5?
It's got to be at least about 4, yeah.
Maybe 3. I don't know. Anyways, I believe we're up to episode number 84.
84.
On the march to episode 100.
100.
We have some very cool, I think, stuff in
store. Yeah,
planned
especially
for
coming up later on this year.
So let's see. We have a lot of stuff to get to. A, between an episode with our topic, but B, some interesting news breaking like last night, early this morning, and just today, whatever it is. So we're going to get to all that. Just by the way, I just wanted to give a big shout out. Thank you to all the brand new subscribers and to all those lovely people making beautiful comments about our videos. You know who you are.
Oh, yes. Keep them coming.
But anyways, just want to give a big shout out to the people who are really just, everyone subscribing. It's just making our channel.
Yeah, up to 126
Wow.
from 0. I mean,
It's amazing.
It's coming along. Got to give it to you.
That's
We're
amazing.
on season 2, and beginning next year we may have.
Season 2 is going to be wrapping up. I don't know when.
Well, usually in December.
Yeah, that's true.
At the end of the year.
It's true.
But hopefully we'll get to 100 by the end of season.
Oh, we're gonna break
That'll
100.
wrap up our show. Yeah.
We're gonna. We have so many different episodes coming to you. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. So, the Hammy report is coming during the next video. Let's go into what's on the wrist. So, you guys, it's not really a surprise here, but the was wearing it in the video yesterday, wearing it in the video today. We'll be wearing it for many videos to come. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you guys can check out the other videos before and see some very good zoom-ins on it. The Hamilton Khaki Aviation. You guys are going to have, maybe I'll give a little spoiler, a glowing review on this watch coming, yes, next episode. I was actually waiting for this to get to be a minute off, a minute fast, just so I can report on timing and all the other different aesthetics of the watch. We're not going to quite get to what's on the wrist for Drew yet, because he's going to show you guys what's on his wrist when we go into the complications.
Or what's off my wrist right now.
That is true. So, what's today's episode about? Well, guys, listen. I think it's been a little bit of a...
There's a squirrel joining our party.
Oh, there it is. Josephus and Bocephus.
Adam.
So we're going to go into different kinds of complications that we have, but also the history a little bit with complications. So, without further ado, let's get into our first watch. So I'm going to have Drew take the camera now and do some zoom-ins so you guys can see what we're actually working with and things like that. So here, first take the camera. I'm going to do these watches first, then I'm going to take the camera, and Drew's going to go into some history and a watch that is unbelievably, undeniably cool by both of our standards. So Drew's going to take the camera and just bring it over here. We're going to just, of course, I'm going to put that iPad over there because I don't want you guys seeing what's going on. So we're going to just start with a simple, basic kind of complication here. We're just talking about the date on this watch, all right? So here's one of the things that I always personally recommend with watches, whether they're quartz, but especially if they're automatic. This particular one is quartz, and it has the, they call this the dead seconds hand. Why do they call it the dead seconds hand? Because the second hand goes, stops, goes, stops. The automatic movement, which you guys will see in a minute, is the called smooth sweeping seconds hand. So how do we change the date on something, simple, just a date watch, right? So the crown is pushed all the way into the case position right now. So if you move it, none of the hands are going to move, nothing's going to go, including the date or the time. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the crown out all the way. And that beautiful, lovely center sweeping seconds hand is going to go all the way around the dial, just for this particular watch. And as you guys can notice, on this particular watch, because it's quartz, if it was automatic, it would stop as well. And we'll show you guys that on the EPOS in a little bit. But the seconds hand should technically almost always stop. better for timing purposes. It's the reason why Drew and I time our watches. It's just, it's like an energy saving, kind of mode, if you will. So what we're going to do is we're going to advance the minute hand clockwise. And we're going to keep going all the way around until we notice the date window change. Right now it's at 25. I don't know if you guys can really see it.
Yep.
You guys can. Good. All right, so we're going to wait until that gets to be 26. Can you do a really good zoom in on that, by the way? See if we can get it to, like, if here, take it back, take it out a little bit, and then we're going to just, do it like that.
There you go.
Okay, perfect. So I want you guys to pay attention right over here, okay? So again, we're advancing the time, and I'm actually looking at the camera now, so it's not 26 yet. So just to let you guys know this, right? When you advance the hands on your watch and the date doesn't move, that means that you were in AM. Now we're in the PM, and you guys are going to see, so we're 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock PM. See how the date's starting to change there? Drew, you see that, right?
Absolutely.
So now, we're at midnight, technically. We're at the next day. The date changes always at midnight. So now we're at the 26th, and we're going to advance this to 6:30. The reason why I like to do it at 6:30, and this is just for any quartz, any automatic, doesn't matter, is because especially when you're dealing with an automatic, the gears and all the different springs and the different wheels, it can actually mess up the movement, believe it or not. Yes, you guys can Google it, research it on YouTube. It's been noted by watch experts, and even when we went to the Patek Philippe exhibition, which you guys could go check out in very many episodes past, and it was in our first season, right?
Yes, it was.
I actually asked the question, and one of the watchmakers answered it for us. But go back and check it out. So now that we're at the 6:30, and
the Backstreet Boys join our party as well.
Absolutely.
The Squirrel and the Backstreet Boys. Excellent. Next.
That's my wife's phone, by the way. So anyways.
Sure it is.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push the crown in one position here. And what's going to happen is that the seconds hand is now going to go back to ticking. However, there's something that I can do that I wasn't able to do before. And that is to advance the date. So you guys now see, if you guys take a look back at that white little window, we're advancing the date now. We're at the 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, 1, 2, 3, 4, and today's the 5th. And what I was doing, if you guys noticed it, was I was turning the crown away from me, going this way, whatever it is. So I was turning it towards the opposite direction that I'm in. So now what I'm going to do, since I have
clockwise or counterclockwise?
True, I guess clockwise,
there
technically.
You go.
So anyway, so now that I have the date set, what I want to do, and I know I'm in the AM hour again, is we're at the 5th, so I just want to advance the hands. We're at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Now we're in noon. But notice this, right? Did you guys see the date window move? No. That means we're still in the same day. So currently the time is, let's just say it's around 7, we're going to say 7:22, because that's what time it's coming on p.m. So we're going to go all the way around to 7 o'clock, 7:20, 7:22-ish, give or take a little bit. And now the time and the date are set accurately on just the simple date kind of watch. Now, when we go to an automatic, this is where things get, kind of fun and interesting. Now, this one in particular does not have a hacking movement, meaning that the seconds hand, once I activated it, it will not stop. Does it really matter? Not on this particular watch, but I want to show you guys now how to do not only the day, but also the date. So again, with an automatic, one of the things that I personally like to do is I'm going to wind the crown clockwise away from me. And I want you guys to pay attention to this hand right over here. It's 2 winds, 3. After 3 winds, it actually started to move. Right? So I'm just going to keep winding it a little bit. Theoretically, with an automatic, I like to wind the crown get it going, and then put it on my wrist and get the thing wound up fully. So let's see where we're at with this one. I'm going to pull the crown out all the way, but of course, like I said, the seconds hand wasn't going to stop on this particular watch. And I'm bringing the crown counterclockwise back towards me. And I'm going to see, right now it says Wednesday the 30th, but let's see where it ends up if we go to the 12th. If the day and the date change, that means we were in the PM going to the AM. If the day and the date don't change, that means we were in the AM going to the PM. So let's see what this does. Okay, so that means we were in the PM. So see how it just snapped to Thursday the 31st? We know we're in the AM now. So here's what we're going to do. Again, like we did with the Bulgari, we're going to our 6:30 time position. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring the crown in just one click. So I believe that I'm there. And notice this, we're going from 31 to 1. And we're taking the crown, and again, we're rotating it clockwise away from us to set the date here. So now we're at 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, how do we set the day? This is $1 million question, right? What we're going to do is instead of rotating the rotating the crown clockwise away from us, we're going to turn it counterclockwise toward us. And then pay attention to the date here, or the day at least. We're going from Thursday to Friday
To Japanese.
to Saturday to Japanese to Sunday to Monday.
And guys, do realize on most of these watches, especially the vintage ones, you're going to have a different language in the second.
Correct.
When you're
A
doing
lot of times
this.
it's Spanish.
A lot of times it's Spanish.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's Japanese. Sometimes it's even Russian. Okay, because a lot of these watches do come out from Russia when they get reconditioned.
Mhm.
So don't be surprised if you see a different language as you're changing the dates in most of these, especially vintage watches from the 70s and 80s.
But Joe, I have a question for you. Is today Wednesday the 5th?
Today is Wednesday the 5th.
Wow. All right, so it did work. So now what we're going to do, again, is we're going to rotate. And we know we're in the AM time because that's when we set the day and the date. So we're 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and when I get back to 12, the day and the date are not going to move. It's like magic. Let's watch. What? Wow, that's amazing. And again, we could set the time on this to 7:25, 7:26, whatever it is. And let's go and do that. So we're in the PM, 7:26 or so. And then the watch is all set properly. Now what I'm going to do after all my long talking, you guys saw how to do the date and a day and a date complication properly. I'm going to send it over to my buddy Drew, and he's going to go over some history and his amazing Epos watch.
Okay, well, guys, let's go to the history aspect of these things. As you know, I was a history minor in college, so I do enjoy the history of watches to begin with. And if you recall some of our past episodes, okay, the earliest type of watches were, in fact, what, Jared?
Oh, pocket watches.
Pocket watches,
Yes.
right. And we
Sorry.
had that episode with Trippy last season, okay? And pocket watches weren't that complicated, okay? So what would happen was, all they would used to do is have, as you can see, a minute marker and an hour marker. That's basically what they came with, okay? The first complication into a watch was actually a subdial. So subdials were the first thing to make a watch more accurate, because when it first began, you could really only tell the minute and the hour. The subdial gave you the ability to tell the seconds, which made things more accurate. And why was this? Because of wartime. Okay, wartime made this even more valuable. Wars brought on a lot of advances throughout the history of watches. Without wars, we wouldn't be where we are today with the watch complications in the industry. Because they had to, it was for bombing times, it was in the trenches, certain times to move.
They actually had to synchronize their watches.
Absolutely. And the only way that they can do it back then was by hand wind watches. Okay, so this is a traditional hand wind. This watch is actually from the early 1900s. This was reconditioned, I do believe, in Russia. And what the interesting part, again, it's very, very simple. As Jared was talking about, just like with automatics, with hand winds, all you got to do is turn it clockwise. You can hear the tick, okay? And that does mean the watch is running. And all of a sudden you can see the subdial, the seconds on the subdial.
doing a great job of zooming, but...
Got a problem with that? Hold on a second. Yeah, there we go. Now, it's up and running. Okay, so now you can see the seconds on the subdial. It is up and running. Okay, so
There
these
we
are
go, that's perfect.
very, very simple watches. And the only way to change the time was...
You guys can see the subdial right there.
Correct. Okay, and then you got the minute
Perfect.
and the second hands, okay?
Mhm.
So, and all you had to do was pull it out once, and you change your time. And that's basically all they did back then. It was a very, very simple time. And how wristwatches came into existence was the fact was this, again, was a pocket watch. If I turn this around, you can see.
Interesting.
It's a pocket watch. And they basically said, you know what, let's turn the dial 90 degrees, okay, which they did. And they originally added a mesh or leather strap to it. And they used to make these out of by hand, and put it on the wrist as so. And they used to be pretty big, because again, pocket watches were pretty big. So if you even notice the size on this pocket watch, it's about a 45 millimeter. This is your standard size for a pocket watch. Okay, so I do have an Omega back from 1918, the same size. This is what they used to do back then during wartime. That's how wristwatches came available. But people forget that subdials were really the first complication. They didn't have the ability to change a date back then. Watches were in its infancy. You had clocks all the way back to the 1500s, okay, but you couldn't put anything on your wrist due to the technology that they had at that current time period. So basically, that was your first complication. Now, we go from this watch, which is the most simplistic timepiece you could pretty much afford today.
Wait a minute. Are they really ready to see this one?
I'm telling you, it goes from, 1800s to...
2018.
Yeah, 2018 in retrospect, because nobody brings it to you like Epos does when they want to go into the
You can
future.
use a paperclip.
Absolutely.
All right, so guys, here we go. This is
This
a sick kind of complication.
is
I want to make sure
the
we get a good
Epos.
focus before we do anything.
What you're looking at here is the Epos Triple Date Night Sky. And why it is called the Night Sky, as soon as Jared can get that in focus, is the fact, yes, as
right
you can
there.
see right there, you're looking into the night sky.
That's perfect.
Okay, and your first question may ask, are those those little things that look like stars, do they actually light up at night? No, that would really make it really confusing for the person who was actually wearing the watch. If that were so, if it was full of lume, you'd be like, what the hell, I can't tell the time. So it looks cool, but it's really just for the daytime. Okay, and what you have here is what we like to call a triple date moon phase.
Wait, what?
What is a triple date moon phase?
Please.
Well, a triple date moon phase tells four things, actually. Okay, it tells the day, which is over here.
You mean the date?
The date.
The date.
Okay, you have the day over here.
Right.
Okay,
Which
you
is
have
conveniently labeled.
correct. Which this is a great watch to show because it does show that. You have the month up on top over here, and down here, hidden by the minute dial, is actually the moon phase. Okay, which tells your phases of the moon.
Oh, wait, Drew. How do you set all this?
Well, that is a good question, Jared. Let me show you.
I don't get it.
Okay, Adam, let me show you too. So the first thing that we're going to do is set the time on this type of piece. Okay, so let's bring this out. We bring that out one click. Okay, and this, believe it, on this watch, it does nothing bringing it out one click. You have to bring it out 2 clicks. Okay, because
That's called the hacking seconds.
that's right. That will stop the second marker right there. Okay, and obviously to set your time, you are going to bring this forward. You can even bring it back. It doesn't really matter what you do. Okay, that's the same on all watches.
Is it safe to bring the minute hand back on an automatic watch and set the time backwards?
You don't want to set the time backwards. Can you bring the minute hand back? Yeah, it's not going to hurt the watch, but do you want to set time backwards? No. The gears are not meant to go
Thank you for the clarification.
backwards. Yes, okay. Now you're going to ask yourself, okay, well that sets the time. How do you get the rest of this shit where it's supposed to be. Well,
I'm curious.
that is what the side of the watch is for, okay?
Ah,
because
what do you
this
mean
is
the
where
side
technology,
of the watch?
Well, we turn it off to the side, and you see where the top complication pushers are.
So you guys can see.
Okay.
Drew, point those out to
And
the
what you
crowd.
need is a safety pin, okay, or any type
Paperclip,
of, or a pen. A pen actually works on this type of watch too. So basically, you need a pen tip or a safety clip, and the safety pin is basically going to show you exactly how to change these functions. We go.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it right
So
there.
if I push it in,
So which
you
one
can
does
see.
that change?
right
Ooh,
now
so
we're
I can
changing
see
the month.
The month, which is right over there.
Right.
I
Right
can see the
now,
month change.
we're in February. That's lovely. A little bit too cold for me. Let's keep going. There we go. March, April, May, June, July, August, and we're
one
back
more. September.
to September. Okay.
All right, so the top one does the month.
Right. That is
Kinda
correct.
cool.
Your bottom one.
Hmm.
Let's get this.
Wait,
sucker
guys,
up
make
and
predictions before we do it. 3, 2, 1.
running. And here you go. Your bottom one, which is going to, if you see it, I'm clicking it now, and what you basically have.
Ah, it looks like
the moon phase.
So it turns out that the date is going all the way around now.
Yes, you can watch my date go
Interesting.
around. Okay, so
So
it's,
now we're 21,
finally see the
22,
moon phase because the
23,
minute hand's
24,
out of there.
25. Now you can really see. Wow, you can really see the moon phase right over
right. That's
here.
what I was trying to say.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Okay, so you have, and we're back to the 4th, and one more is going to bring us to the 5th.
Very nice.
Okay.
Which
now,
should also advance the moon phase too. Now,
Correct.
does that have a quick set function? The moon phase.
actually, it does, Jared.
Wow.
Let's go
okay.
to the other side. Since I'm a lefty, this
So
will actually be a little bit quicker.
we did the date already. We did the month. We're about to do the moon phase, but then the other question is, how do we do the day?
We'll get there in 1 second.
Wow, this is
If
cool.
you look at this side,
Two
you
more.
have 2 more. Okay, now keep in mind, in most triple date moon phases, you're only going to have 3 pushers. EPOS actually took it a step further and gave you 4 pushers. There's usually one function you cannot do a quick set on. Usually
The moon phase.
it's either the moon phase or the day. Okay, I know on JLC moon phase you can't do the day. You have a problem with that.
Interesting.
Okay, so at the bottom, you can see over here, you can see the moon just
Oh wow, look at
disappear.
that go now. Wow, that's a really easy quick set.
Yes, it is.
That's incredible.
So that really is cool because it does show you the phases of the moon. I think there's 28 phases of
yeah, I
the
think
moon.
28 or 28 and a half or something like
Yeah,
that.
28 and a half
That's
per month.
amazing. Look how easy that is though, and then it comes all the way back
Comes
around.
back to the waning crescent right now.
Wow,
That's where
that's
we
cool.
are. Okay, so there's your waning crescent on that. And the top pusher is
Ooh.
going to give you your remaining function
Must
you have
be for
left.
the day. Actually, yeah, you did just advance it.
There we go.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Wow, that's amazing.
And we're going to go back to where we were on Wednesday.
Perfect.
So, there is your triple date feature on the EPOS night sky and how to use them all. And basically, that is probably the most complicated of them
Easiest
all.
of complicated.
Easiest of complications that are out there, which is the triple date moon phase, which is the most complicated outside of a tourbillon that people love to say is even more complicated, but tourbillons don't really do anything. They're really for show outside of regulating the actual watch. It doesn't really do anything, gives you anything outside of looks.
Very
aesthetic
interesting. I'm
wise.
going to hand the camera back to you just so we can put that up there. Very interesting with that. So now you guys have like a little bit of an idea and a taste of what, you know, a day and a date, a triple date, a moon phase, you know, even, you know, what a chronograph looks like. Listen, I could show you guys, but, you know, with this particular watch, what you do is you have 2 chronograph pushers. I'm just going to do a quick tutorial on this one. The top one always starts and stops your chronograph. So once you press it in, the hand starts to move. Once you press it in again, the hand stops. Once you press the bottom piece here, the hand usually resets itself. Guys, a little piece of advice, don't start it and then try to reset it. Start, stop, reset. Start, stop, reset. That's just like a little, I just wanted to give a little something. I could have showed you guys the hand moving, it didn't even make sense. But anyways, I hope you guys learned a few things. Let's just not forget, how to set your date, how to set your days, how to set your months, your moon phases, everything else like that. Just make sure you do it in the proper way. Again, try to set it around 6:30 in the morning, that way, or around 6:30 early in the morning after 3 a.m. That way you don't mess up the movement. That was kind of interesting.
Thank you.
But you know what else is interesting too?
I'm
And
assuming it's what's coming up.
I'm kind of glad that we have a little bit of darkness here. So guys, I just wanted to bring up a few pieces of news here. So I just read this around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. This is the Hodinkee 10th anniversary weekend. You guys could probably really see that nicely because it's a little darker out now. And what this is that Ben Clymer, the founder of Hodinkee, and the rest of his team are hosting an amazing weekend in New York City, center of Manhattan, December 7th to the 9th. And they're going to have guests that are experts and titans and collectors in the industry, and probably one of the best auctioneers ever, Oral Box, who I'm personally looking forward to hopefully meeting. And all this is going to be happening to celebrate Hodinkee's 10th anniversary in New York City, and there's going to be people from all over the world that come.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z may be a possibility. He's not confirmed right now, but that would be maybe even Ellen DeGeneres. There's rumors of maybe her coming. She's a very, very big watch collector, but you're going to see people, Philippe Dufour possibly as well, one of the greatest watchmakers of all time. Jean-Claude Biver, the CEO of LVMH Group. Right now they're asking for their viewers to send feedback to them on who they want to see and what they want to see at this meetup weekend. And I just wanted to give like a little advertising, big shout out to Hodinkee. They are not paying us to do this advertising, but I'm a huge fan of the site, like I'm sure many of you enthusiasts are, and this is going to be absolutely unreal. The other thing is that everything that they're saying will be broadcast live on Hodinkee.com, so those who can't make it to New York City will be able to check it out live online. So that's a great place. Just head online to Hodinkee.com. It'll show you guys, this tab, 10-year anniversary. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. A last little hurrah, before the baby's born and things like that. So the other piece of news, maybe Drew, would you like to go into this one?
Apparently,
I'm going to let Drew go into this one because he's the one who started me with all this, and he's a little bit more of an expert, if you will.
well, anybody who likes to sell watches, as we all know, the number one place to do it in this market is still eBay. eBay is one of the staples when it comes to selling anything.
Well, can I say the reason why it's even better than Chrono 24 in it?
Yep.
It's actually an auction site, so people could go online and bid instead of just saying, you could do a buy it now, but people also bid, and it's incredible what industry prices and everything is done because of auction sites.
Right. And what eBay is basically saying now is, hey, when it comes to luxury watches, we guarantee it.
They authenticate them now.
Now they authenticate them. When it comes to, they didn't do it before, luxury watches, we're not talking about $200 watches, $20 watches. We're talking about stuff, brands that matter
Thousands
in the industry. We're talking about Rolexes, Cartiers, Patek Philippe, Omegas,
Breitling, anything you can imagine.
Anything that is worth a lot of money.
It's a luxury.
You gotta look. eBay. The last thing eBay wants is constant returns because they don't make their percentage of every auction. So what they've come up with is a system to guarantee that these watches are authentic. And the details really haven't been fully announced yet.
Yeah.
But they are coming out, and this is a program I'm sure they are rolling out.
I think what they're
currently.
doing is like they maybe like send it in or something like that. I haven't fully read it.
But it is something that we will be discussing in future episodes based on how eBay is rolling this out.
You guys have to go to ebay.com/authentic/watches, and then that's when you can see all the authenticated wristwatch, which it's really it's unbelievably cool. I mean, again, this is going to be a place where value will be higher, some buyers may come over platforms to be like, hey, these, these things are authenticated now.
It protects value of the
Right.
larger luxury brands. This way you know what you're getting. And the last thing you want to do is buy a Rolex and find out it's fake.
Because then you have to go
Especially
through the
when it's
hassle
listed
of
as real.
getting
Guys, it's
it
one thing
open.
if you buy it in an estate sale or garage
How's the
sale.
lighting on the video?
You're not really
Okay.
expecting
Fine.
much.
Yeah.
However, if you buy it from somebody, and I had this experience back in college, and they list it as 100% authentic, and you go to your watchmaker and they say, hey, this is fake, it's made in China.
One of the most recent examples, I remember this, is with it was the watch with the black dial. We thought for a long time it was real, but it really wasn't.
The Quorum.
Yeah,
I had
that
a
was
Cole-
amazing.
That was one they took me on, and I took a ride
It was
on
a
that one.
great,
Oh, what a great
replica.
knockoff! It was a Quorum jump hour.
We were both fooled.
Gorgeous piece,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely
Gorgeous. Quorum.
Worked great. No
Absolutely
issues with it.
great, and even was like within a couple seconds a day.
Yeah.
And we later found out through research, through a lot of research,
And
that
through a
that was
watchmaker as well.
and through a watchmaker. When he opened it up, he goes, "This isn't real." And it'd be nice because I did buy that on eBay, but eBay didn't have this policy back then where you buy it with this segment in eBay. You go into their luxury watch section, and I buy it through this particular segment. They guarantee it. Okay, so if there's something that isn't,
Which-
you can just send it back
Which
for a full
now
refund.
almost means, in a sense, again, it's like someone telling a story like a lie versus something that's actually true. If
Fake
you,
news?
If you do, fake news, I like it. Yes.
I should coin that.
Thank you, Hillary. And CNN. But anyways, the interesting part here is that now it's like almost if you don't buy a watch through the authenticated luxury thing, what are you really buying?
Sure.
I mean, it's, again, it's just a step in eBay's direction, part of their history, and part of where they're going. And, they've had this kind of authentication for handbags, apparently, for a long time, and some other luxury goods. But wristwatches, again, they're gaining more notoriety in the world. Everyone thinks, oh, no one's wearing watches anymore.
Oh no.
BS, they're bigger than ever.
What's old is new again.
Correct. And it's just, I don't know, I just had to bring up those two pieces of news. But anyways, we've been going on for a long time at this point, and it's really probably getting dark out here. We really appreciate you guys tuning into this episode. I know it was long, I know it was all over the place. I was talking to Drew before we did this episode, and I'm like, oh my god, there's so many things going on. I can't even begin to tell you guys. Head over to Hodinkee, sign up for the 10-year thing. It is absolutely amazing. Are you excited for that?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm gonna even try to
It's a
literally
great thing to do,
stay
especially
New
in
York City.
December when you got like nothing else to do before Christmas.
Yeah.
Because the weather is crappy and you're just stuck inside. Hey, why not go out to New York City in the middle of a snowstorm and go to Hodinkee? Absolutely. that's like fantastic for us. I got an SUV.
For me, I would do it.
Screw it. Bring my Land Rover.
But,
So,
yeah.
let's do this shit.
But now the other thing is that now you guys kind of know how your complications work and the right way to set them. I mean, I know we've gone into complications in the past, but we've never shown you guys how to set them and how they actually kind of work a little bit. And
From
of
the
course,
simplest to the most advanced, that really is on the market these days.
and of course, none of these are technically fine. I don't think yours is a nice
No.
fish case back, right? But guys, again, listen. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. Thank you for your patience. If you guys have any questions, any comments, feel free, ask them, especially on an episode like this where we went into so many different things, probably made your head spin. Any questions that you guys have about the eBay thing, the Hodinkee thing, it doesn't matter what it is, Drew or I will be able to point you in the right direction, certainly answer your question for you. Next episode, guys, don't forget to tune into. We're going into the Hammy report. We're going to go into the review of the Hamilton, full
It's dark.
review. It's dark.
Mm-hmm.
Like completely dark?
No, you can
No.
still see.
A little
No,
bit.
keep talking.
Anyways, guys, we're going to be wrapping this
Nah.
one up. Hopefully you
Yeah.
guys can see us.
Yes.
I know it got a little dark. Drew's giving a
Okay.
thumbs up. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, be the first ones to get our videos as soon as they come out. And we look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode of It's About Time.